Lichtenwald, and I guess the way things go around here, I'm kind of a newbie here at St. John's. So today's word is presence. And the Bible verses for today are from Transformation Sunday, Luke 9:28 through 30 and 33 through 35. And that's when Jesus goes up on the mountain with Peter, John, and James, and Elijah and Moses comes, and they want to build a dwelling for them, and then the cloud comes, and they're scared, or they're frightened by it, and then God speaks to them and tells them that this is my son, the chosen one, listen to him. I wonder, how did they feel that day? Did you imagine that? Did you ever think about that? How must have that been for them to be there and what they felt? Do you think God ever speaks to you? That's why I wanted to talk today. You see, I have, and in this very sanctuary, actually, I've heard God talk to me. Now, you know, I've gotten kind of involved in the music for Sundays around here, and Pastor usually sends us out a list of the hymns for the Sunday service on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. I got it today, actually. That was early for a change. But anyway, I wait for that to come, and then I look at that and look at what hymns she's selected. And she's also given me a book that I can use. I think it's called Sundays and Seasons of the Church Year. And that book also has suggestions of hymns for each Sunday service, and it lists the choir music and handbell music and keyboard music. So I get Pastor's list of the music, and I look in that book to see what they suggest. And then I look at what I have. What can I use for my prelude and my postlude? And sometimes I'll know instantly. Sometimes as soon as she sends out the list, I'll take a look at it and know exactly what I'm going to do. Other times I have to look for it. And it's funny, sometimes I'll come up and I start playing a whole bunch of things, and something will say to me, this is it, use me. And so last spring that kind of happened to me. Pastor had sent out the list, and one of the songs she was going to use was Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. And when I went through my music, I had an arrangement of Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. And when I played it, it told me, use this. So that's Wednesday or Thursday. And I worked on it. You know, just because I have the book and I have the music of the book doesn't mean I know the song. I have to learn it. So I worked on it, and I worked on it. And Saturday morning I played, it just wasn't there. It just wasn't coming. I could play the first part fine. I could play the last part fine. But I had this middle section where there was a whole bunch of stuff going on. The left hand had a whole bunch of runs, and the right hand's playing chords, and the feet are busy. And I just wasn't getting it. I couldn't do it. So I brought that book, but I also took a whole bunch of other books and came up here to church. And one of the nice things about doing what I do is that I get to spend a lot of time here all by myself, just me and God. There's nobody else in the building. And so that day I come up and I sit down in a pew before I go to the organ. I sit down in the pew and I talk to God, just like I'm talking to you now. I talk out loud, nobody else is in the building, just me and God. And I told him I'm having trouble. I can't do this song. I'm just not getting it. And I asked him, please help me, please guide me. I told him I brought all these other books here. Please lead me to what you want me to do. And then I go up to the organ and I start going through the stuff I brought. And nothing's talking to me. There's maybe one or two that are like a maybe with a huge question mark, but nothing says to me until I get back to Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. And I start playing that. And I hear very clearly, this is it. You have to do this tomorrow. You have to do this. This is what God wants you to do. So I worked on it, and I worked on it. I figured, okay, I don't have to play all the notes in the middle section. I don't have to play all the chords as they're written. I can improvise. I can make stuff up. And finally, I decided, okay, I can get through it. I must have worked a couple hours on it and said, okay, I can do this tomorrow. Then I'm getting ready to leave, and I said, should I take that home with me and work on it some more tonight? I decided, no, leave it here, because if I take it home and work on it, I'm only going to stress myself out more, and I'll probably make it worse. So I left the book here, and I go home. And that night I go on Facebook. I go on Facebook a lot. I have family up in New York, and that way I can see what they're doing and communicate and so forth. And I also order stuff online a lot. And I've noticed when you order things online, all of a sudden you get a whole bunch of other pop-up ads for similar items of what you've ordered. So anyway, I'm on Facebook, and this ad comes up. It's from this guy, Jason Tonelli. Jason takes a lot of hymn tunes and he writes piano compositions to them. A lot of his stuff is pretty hard, and it is geared to the piano. Now, a lot of piano music doesn't translate to the organ for the reason that if they have a lot of runs in them and so forth, where they're all going up and down the keyboard, you're using what's called, I think it's called a sostenuto pedal. It holds the string. When you press that down, it causes, even though you release the note, the sound will still revibrate and makes it pretty. The organ doesn't have that. The organ, once you release a note, it's gone. The tone is gone. So anyway, I noticed he's got this new book out, and it says that it's easy. Well, I like easy. Easy's good for me. Anyway, so I look at that, and it also said that it was written for people with small hands. I have small hands. I can reach an octave, and that's about it. So anyway, so the book intrigued me, so I decided I'm going to order this, and I went ahead and I ordered it. And I've ordered things from Jason before, but I get an acknowledgement and email back, thank you for your purchase, so forth. But what was different this time is that there was a PDF file attached to it. Now, there are other sites on the internet that you can download music instantly. You pay a price and they send it. That's for one song. This is a whole book. When you're buying a book of music, they don't send you a PDF file of the book. So anyway, but there's this PDF file. So I download it. What do you suppose it was? It was Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. Not only was it the song that I was having trouble with, but it was in the key of C, the same key that I needed for that middle section. I printed it out, I took it to my piano, I played it, I have an organ at home, I took it to the organ, I played it. I realized I can use this tomorrow. God wanted me to play that song. He told me quite clearly that's what he wanted me to use. And I had trouble with it. And here was this song. It was easier, and I could play the beginning fine, I could play the end okay. I could just use this in the middle, which is exactly what I did that Sunday. Now, did I feel God? Yes. Did God speak to me? Yes, no doubt about it. And that Sunday too, I felt his presence. And I feel his presence every Sunday. I ask God to help me.